Hello, my oyster friends. I haven't done a reading for you in a while. So, we're starting off with the watermelon element, of course. I almost said watermelon. So, maybe watermelon's significant to you. Who knows, right? Okay. Oyster, patient, secret keeper, hiding inner treasures. Sounds a little bit high priestessy. The focus and determination of the oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they achieve with grace and charm. The only problem is oyster types often take their inner gifts for granted. They become shy or doubtful, and this can lead to withdrawing or protecting their deepest desires in life's work. When the oyster card appears, it's important to reveal your inner treasures. What is it you've been hesitant to share? The world is waiting to see. When in balance, feels blessed, generous, and masterful. When out of balance, reluctant, gripping, clams up. To bring it to balance, share something. I was wrong. I think this is a Four of Pentacles card. Well, it doesn't have to correspond to tarot at all, but that's what it reminds me of at the moment. So, my oyster friends, now we move on to the tea leaf cards, which are here to help you determine whether or not this is your reading. And we start off with October, because you got 7 cards when I was shuffling. So the month of October may be, or has been, or will be important to you. Maybe there's birthdays. Maybe there's significant happenings of some sort. Then we have Boot. Increase your efforts if you want to achieve your goals. Chair filled. Someone new entering your life. Underneath that, we have Teardrops and Clouds. So, teardrops is great personal sorrow, and clouds are a temporary situation. So, I don't mean to make light of any personal sorrow that you have gone through or are still going through, but it will get better. Position throne, position of authority, and dog. A distant friend is thinking of you. So perhaps this friend has some authority. Someone in your life, or maybe not in your life, but someone you know with some authority. Obviously, the fact that they're showing up here means that they do have some importance to you, and that you would care about whether or not they think about you. All right, so that's that. Moving on to the tarot portion. I feel like doing Panda Tarot today. Okay, so what do you think is going on that you want to hear about? Why are you here? Huh. Well, so I think I'm going to arrange them like this. I don't usually do this, but we have a Knight of Wands here. A Knight of Wands. This is a Knight of Wands in the upright, so this would have been someone who is very passionate and charismatic. Perhaps it's you, perhaps it's the person on your mind. Regardless, we have the Ten of Swords in reverse and the Five of Cups. So, Ten of Swords in reverse, Ten of Swords in the upright, there's a very painful ending, very definite painful ending. Ten of Swords in reverse, a desire to make amends, to fix things. Next to the Five of Cups, there is the suggestion that a lesson has been learned or is being learned. not quite sure where their progress is on that point. The progress of this knight. Oh, wow. Huh. So, the Knight of Wands, as I said, is passionate and brave, but not terribly reliable for the long run. But perhaps the Star came out first. So the Star is a card of healing and miracles. It appears that they are learning their lessons, or you are. And what's activating now is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is much slower moving, but very diligent. A great deal of integrity. Someone who is willing to put in the work. They're not fast, though. So it may be that this healing is happening very, very slowly, and that's not a bad thing either, because if you're talking about a lot of healing, it takes a process. It's not. So you can heal, have some emotional breakthrough, and do a lot of healing in that way very quickly, but you need to integrate the healing into your life, and that takes time. You need to change the way you interact with life, with other people. Your outlook on everything changes, and it's just a process that takes time, and it takes practice, a lot of practice. And you would need to be diligent, whether this is you or someone else. And we can all have this kind of an experience, a big emotional breakthrough of some kind. So that is my take on that, is that yes, you can have a really fast emotional, mental breakthrough, but putting it into practice takes time and practice. And that's pretty much what we see happening here. We have the Four of Swords. This Four of Swords is interesting because it looks like a student. Someone who is studying their swords. Really taking the time to integrate the lessons. Obviously, they're taking their time. They're resting. They're contemplating, integrating, and it's all coming together. But what lies ahead is justice. So whatever happened here with this Ten of Swords and Five of Cups was serious enough that some accountability needs to be taken. And this person, this knight, may not be ready to do that yet. They are learning, and they are probably coming to understand that they do have some obligation here to make amends. Because an apology is just words unless you also take action. Unless you do the work to make amends, truly make amends. So this is what's on your mind. I don't know if you are this knight or if you are thinking about this knight, but that's what's going on here. It's pretty clear, I have to say. Let's see what the universe has to say, or what message the universe has for you. This should be for you, regardless, you the viewer, whoever you are. If I can do it without bending my cards. Look for the positive. The vast majority of the time, there is something positive to be found. So, we have the mortar and pestle here, which is alchemy, transmutation, breaking things down and turning them into something else. And it looks like this lightness of being. It's very interesting because we also have boss, CEO, judge, coach, finance, benefits, wealth. This is all very pentacle-y. Someone really wanting to achieve success, to transmute their lessons into material success. But then we have this alchemy, making something else. Perhaps someone who wants to, who has been successful, who is very successful, is learning to value other things as well. And that is changing not only their perspective on life, but how they live their life. Well, they may be feeling that the material has been a bit of a red herring in their life. Let's see what else. Oh, wow. I realize you can't see the card off screen. All right. Not only did you get the Twin Flames card, the Divine Partner card, you also got the Swans card. So both cards are soul connections, deep soul connections, Divine Partner, activated heart chakra, balancing yin and yang, reflection. You've been going through a lot. You've definitely felt like you've been thrown off track by this whole experience, which is how it usually works. That's kind of the point, to completely redirect your life. A divine awakening. So, I'm not clear on whether you feel that this has completely derailed your life, which, I mean, it probably has, or whether you feel like this has been a misdirection, a red herring, distracting you from your real purpose, your real goal, which there's a certain amount of truth to that too, because the vast majority of soul connections, whatever you call them, do not end up together. Because the purpose of it, although people focus on the idea of being with their one and only, which is not accurate, most people in soul connections end up choosing somebody else. And it's not a second choice. They're not second best. These connections are extremely difficult. So they choose someone else because it is also fulfilling and wonderful and not as difficult. And because of this experience, they grow so much and become capable, or become much better people, much happier people, stronger, more resilient, more capable of a healthy reciprocal relationship. So you can think of these kinds of connections as catalysts. I see them as a kind of spiritual awakening. Just like a Kundalini or some other type of spiritual awakening. But in any case, it appears you are definitely in that kind of a connection because you got both cards. I've never seen that before. I've never seen both of these cards come out right next to each other in the same reading. Okay. However, right now you are very much in the stage of wanting to be with them, or longing for them at least. And wanting things to work out. Wanting a fresh start. You have the word awakening here again. So that's very much an important part of what's going on. And now we have problem solver, curious. Maybe you're learning about this experience, trying to work your way through it, seeking clarity. Right now, it may feel very dark, and you are looking for sunrise. The other thing you may want to think about, you have the raccoon here, the problem solver. But raccoons, as those of you who live in North America know, raccoons are active at night. So, your problem solving is going to take place in the dark. Which may sound contradictory to you, but there are things in the dark that you have not looked at, that you have not considered. That's why they're in the dark. We could literally be talking about shadow work. We could be talking about inner child work. We could be talking about your unexamined assumptions about life. The societal, familial, cultural programming, even the religious programming. So all of these things need to be called into question. And that is how you work your way through this and get your new sunrise, your happy new beginning, your new day. Anything else? You're really getting slammed in this reading. You do have luck. Good luck. But you have this is interesting. Good luck. Trust your inner knowing. This is really getting to know yourself, your inner guidance, your confidence, building your confidence, getting in touch with your own instincts, your own intuition. Freedom from freeing yourself from the things we were already talking about. And just really making progress. Whether it feels like it or not, you are making progress. And there may be a reward coming your way for that. I don't think it'll be a big reward, but some kind of positive thing. Yeah, you're definitely getting something. Some kind of a reward, a breakthrough, perhaps. A break in something special. Lanyapa? It's a word that's used in New Orleans, and so I think it's Cajun, which is not a language I speak. It's spelled, I believe, Lagniappe. It's a treat, a reward, a little something extra. It's unexpected. I haven't thought of that word in years, but that's what's coming to mind. Maybe it's a major opportunity. This suggests that it is. So, or maybe you should simply see this whole experience as a major opportunity to become so much more than you ever thought you could be. It's magical, and your life is becoming something you probably never imagined. This may not feel good much of the time, but it is a turning point for you. It will redirect the course of your life. So perhaps this, in and of itself, is your golden ticket. You will look back and see who you were before this, and maybe have new thoughts, new opinions about what the red herring was. Your life before or your life since. I completely sympathize with you if you were thinking that this experience is not a good one, not a positive one. At times, it is extremely painful. I personally described it as torture for a very long time. I still kind of tend that way. But I came at it, I had my major awakening a long time before this happened. So it was a little different for me. Anyway, let's see what the archetype cards have for you. The Offering. $64. Anything else? The Vision. 55. The Offering and the Vision. Perhaps, you should see this as an offering of your life in order to bring about a vision, to improve your vision. You may have a new vision for your life. Oh, and you have the flame. I know some readers associate that with twin flames. That's a term I don't like to use for a variety of reasons, which if you've been watching me, you know that I don't like to use it. I disagree with much of the assumptions that come with it. You are whole and complete in and of yourself. There's one flame because you are whole. And what you are doing, what you are going through, is helping you rediscover your wholeness. And that is a real prize. Okay, let's start with 64. This is 51, by the way. So we're working backwards today. Oh no, we're not. I flipped open to the flame, so I guess we're starting with the flame. Number 51, the fire, the spark, the glimmer. In Sanskrit, the word for fire is Agni. The ancient yogis saw this flame at the center of the abdomen and believed it to be responsible for our vitality. When it is lit, we are connected to our purpose and sense that life is a sacred gift. It is said that those who cannot see the sacred around them have let their inner flame go out. Think of this card as a call to reignite that fire, to cup your hands gently around those things you've forgotten and protect the flame, no matter how harshly the winds around you blow. It could be an inner archetype that begs you to light its wick. It is likely that the poet, the mystic, or the shaman would call to you with the language of the flame. Okay. When light, health, mental clarity, good digestion. When dark, excess heat and anger, complete darkness. Oh, we've had a reference to darkness here. The archetypal fire is at the beginning of all transformation, purification, and manifestation. Nearly every spiritual lineage honors the flame. To enliven the connection with this archetypal energy, practice the candle gazing technique called Trataka. Notice how lighting a single candle in any space brings magic to the room and creates a sense of reverence. That's true. All right, 55, I think. The vision. The dream, the imagined, the revealed. It is said that we are each born with a unique vision, a destiny toward which we are aimed. It is also said that we forget this vision the moment we are born. Thus, we are sent on a lifelong journey of rediscovery. Such is the elusive nature of the vision. It slips away, yet it guides. It appears in strange dreams and surreal images, seemingly unattainable and preposterous. When we are connected to the vision, we carry an inspired, enchanted aliveness that others recognize. We trust the world and its synchronicities. We walk through new doors into wondrous opportunities. We all want to be near those with vision. They emit energy more potent than any elixir. When we lose connection to the vision, life becomes dull and exhausting, lacking meaning. Bring back the mystery. Bring back the dreams. Yeah, I think you were living a very mundane life before all this happened. When light, potent imagination, synchronicity, trust. When dark, disconnected from art and dreams, listless, aimless. You can gauge how connected you are to your vision by how tired you are. Since the vision feeds us energy, it affects our life force and vitality. That's interesting. Look at art you loved when you were young. Listen to old records and poems. These are all ways to activate the vision. Interesting. You can also look into ways to work with your intuition. There's plenty of techniques promoted out there. Just make sure you're grounded so you don't get lost before you attempt any of them. All right, right, 64. Here we go. The offering. The gift, the present, the sacrifice. Unlike many of the other cards in the deck, the offering carries a clear-as-day message and a call to action. As you may have guessed, it is time for something to be given and given up for the sake of the bigger picture. If nothing comes to mind immediately, though it's likely it will, take time in meditation to consider what must be offered and who is to receive it. It's likely you'll feel attachment and hesitancy. You'll make excuses, but recognize the connection between the word sacrifice and the word sacred. One leads to the other. When we offer up something to the greater good, we lighten our load and become more able to serve. Imagine for a moment if you were to offer your whole self unconditionally to the world. For now, start small. Don't forget, justice was here. Somebody has to make amends. When light, generosity, donation, volunteering. When dark, giving with expectations. We used to call it strings attached. Keeping track. Once a week, Gandhi gave up speaking for a day, offering himself to divine silence. The offering can come in all shapes and sizes. If there is a gift you've been thinking of giving someone special, now is the time. Well, this has been a very interesting reading. You clearly, this was for you, the viewer, this last part at least. This has been a life-changing experience for you. And it will continue to be. So, I am wishing you all the best.